Grandpa, why don't you tell us a story? You've led an interesting life.
That's a lie, and you know it. But I have seen a lot of movies.
Welcome to Your Thoughts. I'm an old guy. Here are my thoughts. Today we're going to be doing the top 10 comic movie performances. Number 10, Margot Robbie, Harley Quinn. Suicide Squad was a disaster. And the only thing good about it, I would say, is Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. And she did such a good job that she carries this movie. Imagine being in this movie as a stinker, and you got to act across with Jared Leto, and you still are the best part of it. Number 9, Michael Keaton Batman. I loved Michael Keaton Batman when I was a kid. I watched it over and over again on VHS. Let's take a moment and also understand that Michael Keaton was pretty much non-existent in the 90s. But this guy is one of the greatest actors in Hollywood history, in my opinion. Imagine being Batman, where you don't move and you squint and you tell a story by holding still in the dark and squinting. And then on that reverse end, he's also Beetlejuice, where he's this overly animated horned dog that never shuts up, and it's awesome, and it works. That's the farthest spectrum of characters you can think of, is Batman and Beetlejuice. And he does both ends so well. And just think, he did nothing in the 90s state what Hollywood took from us. Number 8 is a little obscure. Jackie Haley as Rorschach from The Watchmen. This guy can do a throat grumble voice way better than Christian Bale ever could. Watchmen is almost a masterpiece to me. It's an amazing movie, and the best part of Watchmen is the changes they made from the comic were better. Usually, and they say, oh, you changed it too much, it gets worse. The changes in from the Watchmen comic are good. I don't care when it says the squib is stupid. And Rorschach is the best part of that movie. People seem to like him and think he's like this awesome guy. You're supposed to despise him. He's supposed to be this crazy, unlikable anti-hero, and it does it for me, and it works. Now let's do number 7, Patrick Stewart as Charles Xavier. I grew up watching Next Generation. I love Patrick Stewart, and I love the X-Men is my favorite comic. So Patrick Stewart being Charles Xavier and just nailing it was awesome. The early X-Men movies had a hard time, and they would really kind of suck, and they didn't know what to do. They weren't making comic movies. They were making Hollywood movies with comic books. Marvel MCU changed that and said, hey, we're making comic books into Marvel movies. Early X-Men stuff doesn't have that mentality, and it really, you can see it affecting on screen. And so Patrick Stewart kind of took a while to come into who he was. And then the same can be said for the next guy, number 6, Hugh Jackman, Wolverine. It did take a long time for him to become the Wolverine, and the first couple acts in the movies didn't really do it justice, but he became the best Wolverine we'll ever get. But I do have one criticism of the Wolverine. Since the PG-13 ratings, we never really got a full berserker rage. And by the time we got to Logan, he was already a busted-up old man. And a part of this is because of the PG-13 rating, and another part is because it's not humanly possible most of the time, because you have to sacrifice your body and barrel into like a tree or a gun or a sword and stab yourself. It's just sad of what it should have been and what we should have gotten for Wolverine. Oh man, number 5 is gonna ruffle some feathers. It's Michael Shannon as General Zod in Man of Steel. That is the best part of Man of Steel. And there's a lot wrong with Man of Steel, but you can say that Michael Shannon's performance was compelling. I don't know how people don't think that. I've heard people say it's one of the worst performances in comics. I don't get it. I love his performance. And that's the only reason I really watch it, and the only reason why I like it. There's some other things in that I like too, and I get the problems of Man of Steel. I totally agree with a lot of it. I don't get how this is not considered a topical level performance, as I do. But if you don't, hey, number 4 won't be that controversial. Number 4 is Anthony Starr's Homelander. How do you despise somebody and like somebody at the same time? There's so many Homelander people out there that love Homelander and don't despise him because the ending was, controversial a bit. I overall don't have a major problem with him. It should have been a little bit of shock and awe, and I agree with that. But the way Homelander went out was great. I'd say Anthony Starr's performance is the best in The Boys. I have all the characters, but there's other characters in that I really, really like too. And not giving him any sort of nominations, I believe, is a huge snub, and he should have. And also, all the internet we got from Anthony Starr was great. Number 3 is Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. I have liked Ryan Reynolds for the longest time. I liked him ever since Ran Wilder. I liked him in Waiting. There's just so many movies. I don't hate his Green Lantern. I don't like his Green Lantern, don't get me wrong. I can actually watch it, but he's the reason Deadpool is super popular. He's the reason why Deadpool made so much money. He's the reason why there's 3 of them, 3.5 basically. And Ryan Reynolds was just born to play Deadpool. So this is a no-brainer. It was easy. And then number 2, Christopher Reeve's Superman. If he was now being cast Superman today, he would be number 1. His biggest problem is he wasn't big enough. He just didn't have the muscles like Henry Cavill had. But if he was out today, if he was doing it today, they would have made him. They would have pumped him full of all these different hormones, and they would have got him huge, like Hugh Jackman huge. And so he would have been the perfect Superman. And then also the movies and the scripts that he was in weren't as taken as seriously as they are today when it comes to handmen of superhero movies. So if he was today, he would have been the greatest acting comic book character of all time. He would have crushed Superman. His Clark Kent to Superman was top tier. And the way he looked, the way he talked, everything about him was perfect other than his muscles, which would have been taken care of today. My number one is a lot of people's top pick. If Heath Ledger as the Joker. The Dark Knight is probably one of the best superhero movies ever made. I don't know if it's my favorite. I put Infinity War maybe as the best and Dark Knight as second best. And the biggest reason why it's the best or second best is because of Heath Ledger. Everything in that movie's great. I like to think of when you close your eyes, what do you think of when you think of the Joker? And the first thing that comes to my mind, of course, is the Killing Joke cover with the camera. But then slowly goes and transforms into Heath Ledger. The Heath Ledger, Why So Serious, comes into my brain. But the next slowly meshes and forms into Mark Hamill's voice and Mark Hamill's Joker. A lot of me wants to say that Heath Ledger is the best Joker, but at the same time, I grew up with Mark Hamill, and I love Mark Hamill's Joker so much. And that's my list. I am there doing a list soon of non-superhero actors. And there are plenty of movies that aren't superheroes. And they deserve a little bit of credit too. But if you have any comments, please comment below. Like and subscribe if you can. It would help my channel. Thanks. Talk to you next time.